Welcome to the February 2026 monthly virtual meeting of the Miami Condo Investing Club. This is a virtual meeting that is broadcast live at noon South Florida time on the second Wednesday of every month. A recording of the monthly meeting will be available for on-demand viewing at miamicondo.club. This 73-minute podcast is hosted by Peter Zalewski, a condo consultant, expert witness, and the founder of the Miami Condo Investing Club. The purpose of the monthly meetings is to share real-time, actionable information about the South Florida condo market with club members. If you are not yet a member of the club, we would encourage you to consider joining at miamicondo.club. The club's mission is to foster a community that shares real-time, actionable intelligence on the latest real estate trends, emerging opportunities, and trusted service providers throughout South Florida. Whether you're a do-it-yourself DIY condo buyer or a seasoned real estate professional, the club provides invaluable resources, including up-to-date statistics, expert analysis, and access to tailored consulting services. An added benefit of the club is that members receive discounts on all Miami Condo Correction walking and bus tours. Please visit miamicondoclub.eventbrite.com. Welcome to the February 2026 monthly virtual meeting.
Welcome to the February 2026 monthly virtual meeting of the Miami Condo Investing Club. I am Peter Zalewski. I am a condo consultant. I'm an expert witness. I'm also the founder of the Miami Condo Investing Club. We're coming up on our second year anniversary. We're going to be going into year 3 really quickly. We've been able to sort of cover a lot of terrain in the meantime. And what's been interesting is a lot of our calls are actually playing out. They're playing out. I'm not going to call this a victory lap, but we've been calling a lot of stuff. What we're going to talk about today is some of the things that we've called, some of the things that are playing out, including we're seeing a sell-off in the condo market. We've been talking about it for a while. A year ago, back in January 2025, I predicted a 40% price drop in South Florida based on pandemic high pricing. Artificial pricing is what I would argue. And we're seeing the pullback. We're finally seeing the pullback. We're seeing the pullback in the form of the first half of the winter buying season. Winter buying season goes from November through April. So we pulled the numbers at the end of January. What we're seeing across the board, we're seeing a discount in pricing. Not only are transactions falling down, but we're also seeing pricing. Now, what we are also seeing is we're seeing pending sales start to surge. Why are pending sales start to surge? Because buyers have suddenly paid attention to the fact that there's a discounting in pricing. So we're in one of those transition moments. How do we sort of see this coming? Why do we kind of see this coming? Well, A, prices are way too high, but B, we're at that point now where we are the midway point of the winter buying season. Traditionally, buyers shop or people come to South Florida between November and April. They come here for an event. They come here for vacation. They come here for a cruise, maybe. While they're here, they start to reflect back on how they like it and what their current situation is. And they all kind of say, you know what, let me kind of buy a place. Maybe it's a second home. Maybe we'll retire here. Maybe we'll move here. And what happens over the course of time is they start kicking the tires. And if they do actually go under contract, they tend to go under contract during the summer buying season, which is going to be going from May through October. So you shop in the winter and you end up transacting in the summer. It's pretty much the way the statistics play out. If you look at Q2 and Q3, that's typically the busiest times in terms of active completed sales. And then what you'll find in Q4, that's next. And then Q1 is typically kind of quiet. So it's kind of you can follow along at home. And what we were anticipating coming into this winter, we made a call that we thought the first half of the winter was going to be quiet. Those people who needed to get out, they would be pulling the trigger and they'd be cutting their pricing. And then in the second half, we would probably start to see a big discount. We're actually seeing it play out. We might be seeing it play out sooner than we thought. Why? Condo costs are going up. Condo costs are going up substantially. We all remember what happened back in June of 2021. There was a disaster. Champlain Tower South went down. Nearly 100 people died. $1 billion settlement was paid out to the families of victims. Florida legislature took a bunch of steps to try to ensure that this wouldn't happen again, but also to provide data, provide understanding to these insurance companies who basically have to backstop these buildings. And as a result of that, inspections are now required. Inspections are required every 10 years, called a Structural Integrity Reserve Study. And then at year 30, you have something called a milestone inspection. And what does that mean? Well, every time they want to do one of these inspections by a licensed architect, licensed engineer, that probably means you got a special assessment coming. And these special assessments are building. Maintenance fees are building. We all know what happened with insurance. I did a podcast recently. A commercial insurance broker told me that we've seen a 40% reduction in premiums. Why? Because now the studies have been done. The insurance companies can understand what's going on in these buildings. And it was an inactive hurricane season this previous summer. As a result of that, we saw a pullback. But the pullback we're seeing in insurance, it's nowhere near to where we were before Surfside. So these are all things to factor in. The cost of condo living has gotten to the point where it's cheaper to rent than it is to own one of these condos. And that is what's forcing owners to look to sell and head for the exits. And if you buy into my thesis, condos are commodities. Houses are works of art. Condo is a commodity. You can figure out the pricing. You know it all. It's no different than a salty snack. It's no different than gasoline. It's no different than orange juice, pork bellies, whatever you want to call it. And when you get into a market where everything's kind of going sideways, the only way to transact is based on price per square foot. Price per square foot. So all those over improvements maybe somebody did, it just means you sell quicker. It doesn't mean you get a better price. And that's kind of what we're in right now. So we're going to be talking about all that. I'm going to be naming names. I'm going to be telling you markets. I'm going to be giving you percentages. I'm going to be showing you things all related to this. So that is our discussion. This is going to be a great discussion. If for some reason you have to leave, this event will go on till 1 o'clock. If you have to leave early, rest assured we will have a edited versions of this. And the only editing we're going to do is basically for looks and for sound. We'll provide an edited version on Friday, by Friday. So we'll get into that. What we'll do is I'm going to open up. I'm going to talk a little bit about our agenda. I will talk about our preferred vendors. Maybe some of you are DIYers. Maybe some of you are realtors. You're looking for different people to sort of reach out to. You should always go to 3 people, get 3 different quotes, figure out which ones are going to be best to you. We're simply going to tell you companies that we think you should give a look to. We'll then give you key indicators. What are some of the big macroeconomic statistics going on so you can pay attention to that? And then we'll drill down into the South Florida Condo Association Financial Cliff Index. You're going to be able to see what's happening, and you're going to see a big surge. This last week, there was a tremendous surge because pending sales are up and active listings are not growing at the same proportion is what we're seeing in pending sales. And then we'll drill down into a brand new report that came from Bloomberg. Bloomberg's kind of interesting because what they did is they just did a report. It came out on, I think, Sunday night, Monday morning, something like that. But basically, they were discussing it on Monday. And what you're finding in one of the reporters that did it, a guy I've known for a long time since the Great Recession, that guy actually went out to the southwest coast of Florida, and they're taking a look at lending. And what they found is that foreclosures are spiking, especially from those investors who are buying stuff to do so-called fix and flips or maybe do infill development. You start to see a surge in foreclosures out there. Why is this important? Well, if any of you have seen the movie, The Big Short, or you read the book, The Big Short, where does it take place primarily? What's the driving force? It's Southwest Florida. It's the Cape Corals of the world. That's where this report's coming out of. So I'm not saying it's canary in a coal mine, but it is something to definitely take a look at. After that, we'll go ahead and we'll get into market by market by market. We'll show you what happened in the first half of the winter buying season and how much prices have dropped, with the exception West Palm Beach, downtown and the island. Those 2 markets are on fire. Why are they on fire? Well, you got a couple different things going on, but I would say the driving force behind that is President Trump. He has his Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago is located on a barrier island just across a short little bridge from West Palm Beach. What's happening is the people are moving in. They're buying up condos or getting housing, and you've also had Vanderbilt University announce that they're going to be opening up a campus there. West Palm Beach has really sort of lacked the educational component. If you look at Boca Raton, they got Florida Atlantic University. You look at what's going on in Miami, you look at what's going on in Fort Lauderdale. But West Palm Beach didn't really have anything. Now, supposedly, Vanderbilt will be coming. And if you don't know Vanderbilt, it's a private school within the Southeast Conference of football. They've actually gotten pretty good at football. Normally, they used to be like the nerds and not the athletes. And now they kind of have both. They're out of Nashville. And they're opening up a campus, in West Palm Beach. So the combination of that, plus all of the billionaires that are rolled in here, all the hedge fund people, all of the private equity people. But I would say the Mar-a-Lago aspect with President Trump spending his weekends in Mar-a-Lago is also contributing to what's going on there. So West Palm Beach is actually outperforming the rest of the Tri-County, South Florida area, kind of cut to the chase on some of it. Broward County is going to be your worst market. Miami-Dade County is going to have the best vintage market, and then the best overall market is going to be Palm Beach County based on our index. So that's kind of the big picture stuff. We're now going to drill into it. Remember, we're going to go to about 1 o'clock or so. And if you need to leave early, we're going to have this available on Friday at the latest. And before I do get into it, let me just throw out to everybody. We do tours. We're doing walking tours. We're big believers that you find a building you like. Once you find a building you like or you would consider, then you start to look at the units. Too many people come in this marketplace. They search for units and they waste a lot of time bouncing around. There's way too many condos out in the marketplace. And if you were to simply chase one unit after another, you sort of have a, you're searching for a needle in a haystack, like the cliche goes. So what we suggest is you look for buildings. How do you figure out a building that's going to make sense? Well, that's what we teach on Saturdays. Every Saturday from 10 to 1 o'clock, I do walking tours. Walking tour, take you around, tell you stories. I teach you how to analyze buildings and give you a list of all the condo projects that are within that particular area we're walking. It's typically about 4 miles, moderate pace, stops along the way. You'll get in some steps. You'll learn how to analyze condo buildings, and you'll also probably have yourself a good time. We have a bunch of people who take the tour, and then they keep taking it because they're really sort of enjoying it. So every Saturday, check it out. If anybody is interested, this Saturday, I'm doing Coral Gables. Coral Gables getting a sell-off. There's a sell-off going on over there. As you're starting to see in South Beach. Why are they doing it? Greater Downtown Miami. Greater Downtown Miami is peaking. The price is way out of control. And now suddenly these other markets like Coral Gables, South Beach, whether it be Aventura or anywhere else, they're starting to look much more attractive. So this Saturday, we're doing Coral Gables. The following Saturday, we're going to be doing the Brickell Avenue area of Greater Downtown Miami. After that, we're doing Coconut Grove. Any of you out there who wants to go after the Grove, Coconut Grove, we're going to be doing a walking tour of that. We'll then follow up. We're going to do the Central Business District. Then we will follow up in March. We're going to be doing Sunny Isles Beach. So if any of you are looking for high end or deals in Sunny Isles Beach on the Barrier Island, where you got a much more modern type of product, take a look for that one. And the bus tours. The bus tours, the way it's been working out is we think, based on sales, based on everything else, we're going to sort of push those beginning in April and try to run those through the summer. Sometimes when you get in the summer, not a lot of people want to go out there and walk in that and the humidity, in the rain. So watch for the bus port tours then. Up until then, it's going to be walking tours every Saturday. If you want information on that, go to miamicondo.club. And remember, if you are a club member, you get a discount on the tickets. Retail price is $65. If you buy a pair of them, they're $55 a ticket. And because you're a club member, you're going to get it for $50. There's a code that I provided to you when I went ahead and in this particular supplement. Everybody who got an invitation last night, what you would have found is you're going to see the link to this particular presentation. Then below that, you're going to see supplemental information. If you click on that, you're going to find all the charts I'm going to be referring to, including the code for our tour. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be sharing my screen now, and I'm going to take you for the next hour on a ride to explain to you where we're at, where we were, and where we're going. So here we go with sharing this screen, and hopefully it all works just like I was hoping. There we go, everybody. All right, so that's going to be our tour. As much as doing it on Saturday, it goes from 10 to 1 o'clock, about 4 miles. If you are going to go on it, we're going to meet on the east side of Giralda. Meet at the east side of Giralda. That's the pedestrian mall. That's where all the restaurants are. We'll walk around. We'll do a round trip. We'll end up back there. And then afterwards, if people want to go out, hang out, have a drink or something to eat or whatever, that'll be a perfect situation. So you can find information, buy tickets directly at miamicondoclub.eventbrite.com. So let's go ahead and scroll down my screen as I'm doing this. You see the Miami Condo Investing Club. We would tell everybody, hey, listen, if you want to recommend the club to people, we would absolutely love it. We would adore it. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Continuing on, now we're going to get into our preferred vendors. These are companies, again, that we recognize and we think that you should give some consideration to if, in fact, you were out there searching for services. So the first one we'll start off with is Clarita Rosa over at Candor Title. Check them out if you need escrow, title, anything and everything. They've been around for a long time, and thumbs up. I would vouch for them. Any of you maybe are doing some work you shouldn't have been doing and you got caught, you got jammed up, maybe you got a piece of dirt you're trying to get entitled. Check out Ann Christine Carey from Miami 21 Zoning and Entitlements. Her website is miami21zoning.com. And Christine can kind of walk you through a bunch of different things. Continuing on, lending. Some of you might be looking for conventional loans or more exotic type of loans. Reach out to Sergio Aliaga. He's over at Union Mortgage Investment Group. He's over in Coral Gables, so Sergio's a good one to reach out to if you're interested in that. On a construction side, Andres Alvarez, he's got a company called 3A Quality Services. I'd encourage you to check out and reach out to him if you have any questions. And if you go to the supplement that I sent you, the link, you're going to be able to click on these people and go straight through to them. You'll also be able to click on their profile page on LinkedIn so you can check them out. And then we got Jose Suarez. Jose is he's with Global Inventory Liquidators. What they do is they buy stuff in bulk. They buy stuff companies that are going out of business or lines as you go from winter to summer to winter. Sometimes companies want to unload the stuff they haven't been able to sell. Jose buys it at a discount. He puts a spread on it, and then he resells it below retail price. So Jose never know what he's going to have. Sometimes it's a restaurant. Sometimes it's an estate that's basically gone sideways, or maybe somebody's passed, whatever the case may be. Jose's always got his he's always got something. So it's a good website to sort of check out. I would almost say it's like treasure hunting. You know, you guys go to Marshall's, maybe you go to Ross or something. You're looking for kind of that deal, home goods. That's kind of what Jose's product is, generally speaking. And then we're going to have Steve Mussolino with Casa Linda Tile and Marble. So if you guys are looking for tile, looking for marble, looking at anything related to the stones, the materials needed for your places, give Steve a call. All of these preferred vendors, I would just suggest when you do go to them, let them know you're a member of the club, and they should take care of you and treat you like family. Should treat you like family. We're going on. This is our list of our meetings. Remember, we do the meetings on the second Wednesday of every month. We do them at noon. They go to about 1 o'clock or so. So next meeting is going to be March the 11th, so everybody can kind of check that out. And then we have one in April. And as we get close to the summer, remember, we're on the other side of the winter buying season. We'll then come out with our next schedule. It's probably going to continue to be the same. It'll always be on the second Wednesday of every month from noon till 1 o'clock. Continuing on, we have our meetups. So meetup is an opportunity for everybody to kind of get together, talk shop, and kind of see what's going on. We do the meetup so you have an opportunity basically to be in person. You can pitch your services, you can trade war stories, you can get to know other people. We're doing open meetups in the winter, meaning we're inviting a bunch of different people. We always alternate the different locations. Last month we did Coral Gables. This month we're doing Greater Downtown Miami. We're doing it at a place called Craft. It's a 9th in Biscayne, so if anybody's interested in showing up, there's no cost. There's discounted drinks and discounted food. So if you're interested, come on out. We love to see it. It goes from 6 to 8, but inevitably we end up staying longer than that. Basically, you tell war stories, and it's an opportunity for people who are interested in the condo market to take advantage of it. The following month will be in the Upper East Side, and then we'll be going up to Hallandale Beach. That'll be in April, which will be followed by Fort Lauderdale, and then we'll be going to Boca Raton after that. Let's continue on with our presentation. I'm scrolling down. This is, again, this was a link that I sent you all. You all got this link. You were able to pop up here. You're going to see our agenda really quickly. You see what we got on the board.